And we're back with some more oxygen not included on Rime. And we've got food sorted. Food is now completely done. Well, once it ripens, we can start doing pepper bread. I've already queued up the pepper bread in our gas range. So once our first crop of pinch pepper nuts comes along, we'll be good to go. Industrial brick is good to go. That everything in there. I've made this thing huge, but I don't even know what else to add in anymore. We've got all our metal refined. Well, most of it anyway. If we check here, we've got 60 tons of gold, which is going to be used to make our power spine, plenty of copper, aluminum, all the materials we need. So over here, I have queued up what's going to be our petroleum boiler. Now, I think we'll just skip this forward a bit. All I did was made sure I had some convenient ways to gain access to it. We're going to go in this direction, and that should be our only ways into this area. And then, we'll just let the duplicants get around to it and see how well this works out. I made a little alteration here and there to make sure duplicants don't get trapped, but by and large, this seems to be working out. Oh, I should probably put a few ladder segments up here as well so they can clear out this section. I want to make sure that they can clear out this spout. Yeah, this could probably work. I just want to make sure that I can dig this all out without too much effort or without too much duplicate micromanagement. Working out quite well so far. The Abyssalite, of course, is going to cause some problems. I've only got a few dupes that are skilled at taking care of that, but by and large, this seems to be working out okay. I might want to increase the priority on the Abyssalite stuff so that Hulk and Smash prioritize those over actually doing any of the building. By and large, quite a successful build. Now, all I have to do is put some close by storage so I can get rid of all the gunk that came out of this. Yeah, let's just grab a few storage bins and say, ooh, yeah, here's plenty, close enough. I'll just set those to sweep only with a high priority and we'll dump all of the gunk that's in here into them. I prefer to have close by storage that I do this with. It just saves so much hassle. So sweep only, all priority 9, copy. Boom, and now when we do a sweep command over here, everything that's in here should hopefully go into those instead of getting taken... Ooh, or maybe a bit far away. You know what, we'll take some of the extra gunk around the place, we don't mind. Well, that puts it all out of the way, puts it down here, and I don't have to care about it. Oh, I'm going to have to get centralized storage going as well. But we're not going into centralized storage until after this whole build is finished. Pipes here are made of aluminum, of course. These metal tiles here are made of gold. We'll be putting in a second set of gold tiles down here. We'll finish it off in a wee bit. We're just going to get all the guts in place for now. To make this work, I'm going to need a heating source here made out of, an aqua tuner. Now, the aqua tuner is going to produce some chill. That chill I need to, dump. I'm creating cold. I'm generating heat to boil my petroleum that I'm going to boil up here. But that cold needs to go somewhere. So I'm going to have a tank of liquid down here to absorb it. And we're going to run the exiting petroleum to, take some of that chill away so it's sustainable. But I do need to fill it with a medium first. And I'm thinking the medium we're going to use is water, though. Yeah, I'm going to need a bunch of it, and I want to start it off pretty warm. So I think we're going to create a nice pool of warm water over here. So currently I'm just clearing out a nice space. We're going to load it full of water, let a teppidizer heat it all up, and then we're going to use that warm water to fill up this tank over here. So while that's going on, though, I might want to see about vacuuming this out. You only want one type of gas in here, and unfortunately I've got chlorine, oxygen, and polluted oxygen, and that's going to mess this all up. So I think it's time we put in some liquid locks and seal this sucker up. Now, where do we want to go in from, though, is the question. Well, we're probably going to want to seal up this last, which means... Yeah, I think we're going to have put the liquid lock up here and then vacuum out everything that's in there and seal up these sides. So let's start it with the seal up, and let's put in a liquid lock right here. Thank Jeebus for these liquid locks. They make life so much simpler when you get to the stage of the game. So this area is all sealed in now. We can stick in some gas pumps and start extracting that. Though I'm going to want... Whoa. That's too much. Wait, is it enough? Is that teppidizer on? Ah, the teppidizer is on. Perfect. We can turn these off. Done and dusted. And now that that's done, what's that water looking like? Yeah, once that's heated up to about 80 degrees, we'll dump it in there. You know what? That might not be enough water. In that case, we'll just add in a few temperature shift plates made of ice. They will quickly melt on unset of temperatures. 1 second. Where are we? Regular ice, thank you very much. We'll just throw in a few of those. That'll give us more than enough water for our purposes. Now, though, we got to vacuum this place out. I'm thinking, I'm thinking I should probably get rid of some of those ladder segments. Yeah, that might be an idea. There we go. Quick and dirty. But we're going to need to get in some power in here. Power is going to be very straightforward. We'll just use some lead because it's cheap and plentiful. You know what? I think we're going to plug this into our main grid over here. So, you know what? Let's put that at the door. We can deconstruct that later. And we're going to want to run a... yeah, we're going to throw in a quick transformer and feed that off it. There we go. Transformer from over here will feed power across and get those 4 gas pumps working. Oh, yeah, they can't get across there, can they? We will put a quick ladder up there. Dig that out. Why not? And that should get us access to that backside spot so we can put in the high-pressure gas vents. Right, how are we looking on the waterfront? How's our water looking? No, we're going to heat that up the whole way. One valuable lesson I learned with these is make sure you put in some nice warm water down here to chill. This here is going to be our heat source. But to make it, we need to generate a bunch of chill. And what will happen is if we generate too much chill so that we freeze this all down to absolute zero, we won't be able to generate any more heat, at which point we're stuck and we'll have to break in here and make modifications. So just make sure you have enough medium in here to store up enough chill that you can boil your first few tons of petroleum without running out of something to dump the chill into. It just happened to me once and it was rather messy. Alright, so we'll have 80-degree water to draw on and we'll dump that in there when the time comes. Now I'll just fast forward a bit while we wait for the last bits and pieces of everything to come together. We're starting to dump the water in here, which is great. Gas-wise, this is slowly but surely getting vacuumed out. The chlorine is the only pocket of annoying gases left. Once the chlorine is gone, we could technically stop, but I'm still going to vacuum out the whole area just to be on the safe side. If you have one gas in here, it's fine. It's just a way to do with the way liquids and gases interact. We're going to be using single tile stairs along here for our heat exchangers. So with only a 1-tile gap, if you end up with 2 different gases in there, the liquids won't be able to push them along. I'll try and give a demonstration of that, or a better explanation of that later as the system starts to flow. But in the meantime, let's see here. Yeah, that's still going. We might as well dig under this and start putting in the second layer. What I want to do here is double layer everything. This is going to be quite a warm little device, so if we just say build that around the outside. Oh wait, no, I'm not going to bother taking out the abyssalite. If the abyssalite's there, the abyssalite can keep being there. And we'll also put some insulation up this side there, and then we'll just throw in some ladders so that all of our duplicates can gain access. Yeah, that should be fairly straightforward. There we go, all queued up. That should give us a nice well-insulated box of heat. And now that we've vacuumed it out, well, if we continue to vacuum it out, I think we can just leave this top accessible so that, yeah, we can go in and service these parts if needs be. Though I haven't quite finished up in here. I want to make sure I don't overfill that with water. As our water is low looking. Yeah, we got plenty of water still to dump in here. Once this is finished filling that up, we can get rid of that tepidizer as well. So we'll top this up, and we're going to need some water for in this area as well. I think we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone when the time comes. Oh, vacuum is complete. That's perfect. So what we can do is deconstruct this stuff, sweep the place out for one last time, and then start putting in the stairs themselves. We're going to replace those ladder segments with actual chunks of insulated tile to help stop heat transfer. Just so we've got a nice heat exchange stairs going on. Right here, it's kind of difficult to see now that this dupe has started filling it in. There's an overflood of 467 kilos of water. So I'm hopeful that when I pop in that tile, yes, it pops the water up here. So we have over 71421. We have about 200 kilos of water up here. That should be sufficient for our needs. It might have overpressurized down here a little bit, but excellent. Now we're just going to stick in a thermium aqua tuner. This is going to be our heat source. The reason we're using thermium is because of the plus 900C to overheat. Yes, that's very useful. So what's set up here is the coolant is going to go around in this loop. And it's just going to keep going around and around, and then we're going to heat it up until the temperature in here is above 600 degrees. Oh, 600. Maybe 650 to start. We might want to make sure we have a little bit of a buffer. Once the temperature in here is above 650, as in there's that much steam heat, we'll shut that down. Oh, and we'll put in a couple of gold tiles right there. Perfect. Oh, also might want to put an insulated tile there. Then we can seal that up. Have we swept out everything along the bottom? Yes, we have. Then let's grab some igneous rock tiles, and let's start putting in our heat transfer stairs, or temperature, counterflow heat exchange stairs. We'll have to overwrite a few ladders, but I can live with that. Hopefully not too much debris falls down, because that would annoy me. If the debris ends up on top of the tiles, that would be better. Okay, so there'll be a bit of debris ending up on the floor. It's Yeah, a minor annoyance. I can for the ability to be able to dig this down from the top and not have to worry. I'll learn to live with that annoyance. All right, so maybe I can't quite live with having all of that debris lying about the place. And there seems to be a simple resolution to it. Just leave a bare bones scaffolding in place, and I can get the bricks in without causing too much hassle. Best of both worlds. The whole stairs goes together really quickly. It's pretty fast and straightforward, actually. And yeah, we're getting through this really quick, so not a big deal. I don't know what change they made to the code that stopped dupes entombing themselves when you do these one-tile high builds, but whatever it was, it is just so handy. I am so glad they did it. Oh, we can probably... You know what? We will have to replace that tile there because that's going to be going... you know what? I forgot to delete those ladders, didn't I? Well, we can do that now, and we can clean that up before we put in the last layer. Final counterflow heat exchange stair completed. Once that's done, we can start filling this up. I'm going to fill it up to here with crude oil before we turn this on, though. I want to make sure that that temperature sensor is in something. Right now, it's in a vacuum, so yeah, the temperature sensor doesn't really do much. See, it doesn't matter what you do, it won't change. Oh, it will close the doors. Oh, there's something about the patch where they changed this. Well, that's good to know. Well, 403, I believe, is what we're aiming for, though it's been a while. The temperature is below 403. Temperature in here is... Turn on if the temperature is below 650. And this here is not meant to be a temperature sensor. That is supposed to be... that's supposed to be a pressure sensor. It's supposed to be a pressure sensor right there. Time for some minor modifications. This never happened. There's nothing to see here. Yes, that was... Nothing happened there at all. Yep. Nothing of note whatsoever. Right, so that's that all done. We've got it all vacuumed out. Yes, definitely all vacuumed out. I'm not going to put the supercoolant in there just yet. We're going to start filling it up with crude oil. We're going to dump the crude oil up until it activates that thermosensor just to make sure we're all on track. Once that happens, we'll turn on the aquatuner. So, I'm just going to go straight down here and grab some oil. A straight downer? Yeah, why not? Ooh, when I finish off that exit pipe. That's the exit pipe. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to send that just yet. You know what? We'll delete that stuff anyway. I don't need that piping in there. That pipe can stay in there. It's not going to cause any issues. Yeah, we'll just leave it. Getting rid of it was probably more effort than it's worth. This is the exit pipe. I need to figure out where that exit petroleum is going to go. The exit crude. It's probably going to go up in here, though I might want to run it around the sides and up through this insulated section just to keep it from freezing. If I just run it straight through that liquid hydrogen, or that frozen hydrogen, I might have a problem. I don't know. Okay, so I'll let this run up here. I'm going to put in a liquid valve down here so I can control the flow, and a shutoff up here so I can turn it on and off. That still means, though, we need to hook up power. From here on out, we can use lead because we don't care. And you know what? We already have this up here from the last time we set this up, or from the other power configuration we were doing when we put in the gas pumps. So we can run that all the way down to there. And that gives us power as well. So that allows me some control over turning it on and off. We'll do some pre-filling, and we should be good to have some fun with this one. Now, there may be a few questions, like one, why am I using a thermo aquatuner with supercoolant instead of just using the volcanoes? I have 2 volcanoes on this map. There's one... okay, excuse the zoom. There's one, yeah, there's a volcano over here I've got going on. And I also have a second volcano over here. So I already have 2 volcanoes. Why don't I use them to run the petroleum boiler? Well, first up, I don't need to. I can just throw this together, and I can do it rather quickly. I don't have to make myself a tank of magma. Since I don't have to accumulate a tank of magma, I can get this up and running now instead of waiting for one to fill. But that's not even the main thing. The reason we normally use a volcano is we don't have access to supercoolant and thermium. But we do because we rushed space because of everything we were doing, just because of this particular playstyle. So I can still take those volcanoes and use them, but I can use them to generate power if I want or do anything else. This whole thing, because of the size of the counterflow, I made a nice big chunky one because we had the resources, why not? This, I think it works out at about 400 or 500 watts of power tops. This will cost me to run constantly. So I could probably get more power than that out of the volcanoes. But realistically, it's more about just convenience. This I can throw together faster. The only reason we specialized, or there's a big bonus for using volcanoes, is you can put together a volcanic petroleum boiler without any space materials. But once you have access to space materials, it's usually just faster to throw one of these together. Or to put it in more succinct terms, you can put together a volcanic petroleum boiler before you get to space, and the volcanic petroleum boiler will run forever. So you don't have to change it or modify it. Once it's built, you're done. This one here, you'd have to wait until you get to space to put it together, which is usually a pretty far way down the road. So you're better off usually throwing one together if you have a volcano to do it with. However, if you've rushed space, well, then why not just save yourself a little bit of effort and put one together using thermium and supercoolant. Hopefully I explained that in not too confusing a way. And the crude oil has started to flow. So a few things of note here. One, I haven't even started this up yet. I haven't started up the heat here. I just want to fill up some crude oil here. The reason being, there's going to be no counterflow. Not for a long, long time. I have to fill this all the way up to here with crude oil, turn that crude oil into petroleum, and then it will start flowing back down. Until that happens, we are straight up just heating oil. This oil comes in at, let's see what the oil temperature is down here. Yeah, minus 34. I don't think I've ever fired up a petroleum boiler with crude oil coming in at that cold a temperature. This is going to be ridiculous. Yeah, we've got enough in there. I think we'll just change that there. One thing is we don't want too much crude oil in here to start. If we do... Why is that? Are you still... Stop. I told you to stop. Let's hope we don't have too much in there. If you put in too much, when the petroleum flashes, it expands, as in petroleum takes up more space than... Crude oil forms a tile at 870, petroleum's about 820, I think. So if I converted all of this to petroleum, instead of taking up, say, 4 tiles, if there's 4 tiles of crude oil, it'll try and take up 5. There'll be too much pressure in here, it'll crack the walls, and yeah, you get all sorts of messes happening. Good, now that we've got that done, it is time to put in some supercoolant into the system, right? So, yeah, let's just set up a quick plumbing system down here. We'll dump in a liquid pump, then we'll dump across some piping. Plumbing done. Plumbing just connects right up in there and dumps into the loop we're good. Well, I'd say it's a cooling loop, but really it's just somewhere where we're dumping the chill so that we can generate heat. We're doing the opposite of what you normally do. Also I should probably hook that up to power. Yep, that would be a smart plan, and that we don't need any more supercoolant. 200 kilos is actually more than enough. You know what? Well, turn that off now. That should be the end of that. In fact, we can delete that. We don't need it anymore. How's this down here doing? You know what? I've left this at 10 kilos for now, but we're going to switch it down to 1 kilo. Here we go. How are we doing? Yeah, all flowing. We're going to deconstruct that. So as you can see, the temperature in here is going up slowly but surely as this dumps heat into the water. And the temperature down here is slowly but surely decreasing. We want to get the temperature in here up to about 600. At the same time, we want to get the temperature in here up to about, 403? Oh, temperature is below 403. You going to close? No? Right. Okay, it's decided to take the bait. I will put you to below just to see. We connected you, okay. Good, just checking to make sure everything's working. So everything's set. We're just going to let this heat up. Hopefully this does not freeze. If this goes down to absolute 0 in Kelvin, it's like minus 270 C or somewhere around there, then we'll stop generating heat up here. Hopefully that will not be the case. Anyway, we're going to let that run, and while that's running, we're going to go around and start sorting out one other thing. The next thing we got to sort out is, and if you'll excuse the zoom, is the oil wells. There's one oil well there. There's a second oil well there. And where was the third one? The third one was off in some random spot, wasn't it? Oh, yes, now I remember. The third one is up here. I have no idea why. Maybe it's the map type it ends up here, but that's the only other oil biome that's not in the oil biome. Everything else was just normal. This oil biome goes all the way along the bottom. It has a little bit of a weird, hangs a left up here and goes up this area. But barring that, all the rest of the oil biome is down here nice and tight. And then there's just this oil well up here for no apparent reason whatsoever. But we're going to include them in the build. But for now, we're just going to let this warm up. While this is going on, I do have some time to take care of some other things that I've been putting on, well, that I have been paying attention to. The first one is our infinite farm over here. Yes, our artificial wild farm, whatever you want to call it. All the pepper nuts have started to become harvestable, so they're coming in. That means we're creating pepper bread. So I've done a little bit of modifications here. I've got the pepper bread that's being produced. I've got that being picked up and dumped over here, same area. As where the barbecue goes, and under consumables, I have stopped the consumption of pepper bread. I'm not allowing them to eat the pepper bread. I want to save up the pepper bread and want them to eat the 4 million calories of barbecue we've got left over. So I think it's time we started decommissioning the ranches and switching entirely over to pepper bread. So yeah, ranches, time to go. There's no more filling them up, no more caring about them. They are all gone. That's... well, we're about to have the power come back in, so why not? We'll leave these ones in. Yeah, we can leave in the Drecos. Actually, how are these Drecos looking at the moment? These are... you know what? Let's just wipe these out and replace them. I wipe these out every so often and let fresh ones come in so we can get more reed fiber. Why not? How are we doing on plastic Drecos? Ooh, 66 of them. Yeah, that's been providing me some excess plastic just for no reason. I was just curious to see how well that would do. Once that is all done, we'll let them eat the last of whatever food is in those containers. Once that's done, they can starve. For these... ooh, you know what? There we go. We'll get rid of all of those. We might want to get rid of those feeders as well. If I don't get rid of the feeders, my duplicants will keep trying to copy them. Fill them up. No, thank you. Done. That should be the end of that. No more labor involved in maintaining those. I'm going to leave everyone eating barbecue. We're going to let that be eaten away, and we're going to switch over to pepper bread entirely when the time comes. There's a few more seeds I got here. I got those seeds and I had them installed so that we've got more pepper nuts coming along. Eventually we'll fill this place with pepper nuts, though. I think it's time we put in a little bit of automation. The pepper nuts here are ending up on the ground, and some of them have rotted. You'll notice over here. Yeah. They're going to go stale. So I think it's time we put in some auto sweepers and clean this whole place up. Done. Well, okay, we've got the orders for it to be done. All we've got is conveyor loaders here. Let's see, here's a shipping... you know what, that's a bad example. This one here, shipping loader. It covers these 6 pinch of pepper nuts, loads them up into the conveyor loader. Conveyor loader ships them off all the way across here. And they all go across down here and get dumped into our kitchen area. I jumped out of that loader right down there. Once that's in place, I think what we'll do is... we're going to get rid of all our barbecue. There's no point doing barbecue anymore on this section. We can probably retire this grill. In fact, we'll move that grill out of the way and we'll put the gas range in place. The gas range currently, it can't get fed by this auto sweeper here. This auto sweeper can't feed it. So I think we're going to do just a little bit of a modification to make sure that auto sweeper can feed it and can pick up the food that drops out of it. And that will be the end of that. It will take a little bit of time before we eat through all our meat reserves. I think meat-wise, we're looking at, 57,000 calories? That's also got to be barbecued up. We're not going to let it go to waste. We'll let it cook up first. Pepper bread-wise, I've got 52 kilos of pepper nuts I really should get through. I changed the priority on this to level 8. It was level 5, so it was getting left to seconds. We're going to let the meat sit there, and we're going to worry about the pepper bread first. Pepper bread all the way. We're already up to 324,000 calories of this stuff. Perfect. Soon we'll be able to switch over entirely. How we're down here. Oh yeah, I've forgotten why these are annoying things to set up. We're up to about the 650, which is perfect. But this down here, the ice, the heat sink, cold sink. Yeah, the cold sink is down to minus 186. So yeah, I can't put any oil through that. Even if I did counterflow the petroleum and it went down here and I dumped it into the pipes and I send it out through here to get to dump some of its heat off, it would instantly freeze in the pipes and crack. So we're going to have to go in there, dig that all out, and replace the water. Let me think about how I'm going to manage that. So, because I'm an idiot, what I really should have done was made sure that I could dig out the ice that got left behind and then, fill it back up later. But I didn't do that, and what is going on there? Where is the supercoolant going? Supercoolant is somehow magically ending up in that tile. Because there is some carbon dioxide there. Oh, great. The game's playing city buggers because there's carbon dioxide in that tile and it doesn't want to allow it to move. Really? Really, game? You're going to do that to me? Okay. What we're doing here is this. If you'll notice here, the temperature in here has not hit 650. And you'll notice the supercoolant is still rotating around. It's coming out at 272 minus 272.1. That's absolute zero in Kelvin, so it can't go any colder than that. Thankfully, it can't freeze in the pipes. After it passes through the ice and comes out the other side, it's 270. So, yeah, it's cooling it by 2 degrees. Still costing me 1200 watts, mind you. This is what happens when you bottom out with supercoolant. You're just spinning... Well, you're spinning around, but you're not really generating any heating, or very little heating or cooling is going on. So what we need to do is dump more heat into the system. Yes, I know. So to try and counteract that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump some supercoolant. If it were... Seriously... You know what? I am going to... deconstruct that. Just because you're being this way, game. Deconstruct that, then I'm going to build a tile right there to destroy the carbon dioxide. Then, once the carbon dioxide is destroyed, I will replace that side with a second. I will remove the tile and then put the pump back. And then it will all work just fine. And we'll get one more blob of supercoolant in there. And what that is enough for now. Anyway, once that pump goes back in, we can watch my very, very dumb plan in action. The plan is this. The supercoolant gets pumped up through here, goes through this coal sink, goes all the way across here, at which point it goes through this, remember this liquid tank from earlier? Well, I've replaced the tepidizer, so now the supercoolant comes back here, it's minus 80 when it comes through here, and then by the time it exits out the other side, it's 37 degrees. So yeah, wow, it's almost freezing the stuff when it gets through there, is it? I don't have enough supercoolant to run it continuously. I should probably put in more supercoolant. You know what? No, I think no, what am I doing skimping? Yeah, we'll just throw in some more supercoolant. But that will help chill that down. So right now you can see this is the liquid going through here. It's coming out at minus 272, 268. Okay, that should hopefully speed up. Oh, I never put any temperature shift plates in there. There's no temperature shift plates to help spread the temperature between the bottom and the top. Oops. Should I crack that open and fix that issue? You know what? I might have to do that. I'd prefer to put in a temperature shift plate to make sure there's a little bit of temperature transfer. I can always come in at an angle. You know what? Yeah, we'll do that in a bit. First, though, I'm just going to skip this forward a bit. There's no need for you to see this going on. And it's starting to melt. So I've dug in a little gap down here. Once most of this melts, what I'll do is I'll put in a temperature shift plate, and then we can hopefully just sort of squish the water back in. Well, hopefully. It doesn't really matter. So long as we get a temperature shift plate in there anyway, it should be fine. I want to heat up that water nice and hot so that we can get some temperature. Until the counterflow goes through, and what'll happen is the counterflowing petroleum will flow down here, go past this area, soak up a bunch of the chill that's getting dumped in because it's going to be warm petroleum, and then we can flow that off and burn it in the petroleum generators. Anyway, we'll skip this forward a bit more until it's ready to go. Would you look at that? A quick temperature shift plate to install, and the temperature is actually melting all that stuff. Excellent. Now we can seal this up and get ready for the next stage of actually turning on this petroleum boiler, which turned out to be a lot more complicated than it should have been. If you want to do this right, what I should have done was I should have stuck in a tepidizer in here just to make sure that I wouldn't have to bother with any of this. But I was lazy, and I paid for my laziness. So yeah, maybe sticking a tepidizer. Be nice to yourself. Everything resealed. Once that tile is built, we'll be good to go. Oh, we can get rid of that bottle emptier. I put that in just in case I was going to have to top up on the water. Okay, people can reach that. Yeah, that can be reached. That'll be fine. Now it's time to turn this sucker on again. We're just going to turn this on. I've got it limited to 1 kilo down here. The first set will be way more than 1 kilo, but we can live with that. We're limiting it to 1 kilo because if we try to put 10 kilos through this aquatuner hasn't got a hope of keeping up. Not even a little bit. We're just going to let this fill up anyway until we get to near the top. Once it starts to counterflow, I'm going to turn it off because, well, I still have that supercoolant flowing through there. That's the exit pipe. I don't want that supercoolant going up. We're going to have to drain out that supercoolant when the time comes. But for now, we're just going to start filling this sucker up and seeing if everything functions as intended. There's the crude oil, 300. Yeah, it's converting. Should be perfect. And now that we're down to 1 kilo going through, you'll notice the temperature there is going up slowly and it's crawling back up to 650. We're brute forcing 1 kilo of crude oil per second into petroleum. That's what we're able to do with this aquatuner. We can just brute force 1 kilo at a time, but we want to do 10 at a time. So to do that, that's why the counterflow is here. This will help us cut down on energy costs substantially. That's why the whole thing is built this way. That's why you do that for the volcanoes as well. Just makes it nice and cheap and means you can do 10 kilos without much effort. Once this gets up to there, we'll stop it and we'll switch to the next stage. And we're starting to see our first set of counterflow here as the petroleum starts to roll back down. And we can see that the viscogel liquid lock froze because it got too cold up here. Probably when I opened this up and let out the temperature from that extremely cold ice blob. Doesn't matter, I can thaw it out later if needs be. But anyway, let's turn off the petroleum for now. Wait, was it above? Yeah, there we go. So we'll turn off the petroleum, or the crude oil, stop that from flowing through. Let's see, what's it coming up to? Yeah, like just for example here, you notice the crude oil, minus 34. By the time it gets to the top now, it's 100 degrees. And that's only with that much counterflow done so far. That's really going to help us out. Anyway, I need to get rid of all this supercoolant that's in the system. I need to drain all of that out. We don't want that causing any problems, so we'll just hook those up like that. Boom. Problem solved. That drains out all the supercoolant, and once I deconstruct that liquid tank will just drop me a nice big blob of supercoolant. Well, or a nice container of supercoolant. So once that's all done, we can start deconstructing all of this. Connect that back up there. What else do we want to get rid of? Oh, we want to get rid of that. You can go too. This is the exit pipe for the petroleum. The petroleum is going to get pumped out here. It's going to go across this all the way along over here, up, over, and into our petroleum tanks. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. Time to turn this sucker on again. Turn her on. Good to go. Now we can pump it out once the petroleum gets down to the bottom. There'll be a big blob of 10 kilos at the start. There's problems with these liquid valves. Liquid valves have a tendency, you set them to say 1 kilo. They'll drop out, say, 1 kilo at a time, but then they'll mess up on the last blob. They're just, they're inconvenient. So your best bet is to give a little bit of distance so they don't mess up too much. Well, that's what I found. That's why I've placed it quite a distance away from my shut-off valve. But yeah, we should be okay, and we're starting to get counterflow. Perfect. So coming in at minus 34, getting to the top at 200 degrees. So we're already good enough to jump up to, we could probably jump to 2 kilos straight away. No, don't do it, Francis. Don't do it. I always rush things. All right, we'll jump to 2 kilos, get this started, and see how it works. While all of that is going on, I should probably take care of 1 or 2 things on the side. The main ones being these petroleum generators. I should really get those and put in a couple more. Yeah, so we're going to put 1 there and another one right there. I've even laid out the little metal tiles, or the lead tiles, where they're going to sit down on. Boom. And they should even be set up to... Are they already set up to the automation wire? Yep. And they're set up to power. Boom. That means we can turn them on. I'm going to put them on auto burn off. What I mean is, once we've got it, once the petroleum starts flowing, I'm never going to shut it off because it gives me... Well, I'll go into more on that later, but effectively what I want is have 5 petroleum generators, and if we have too much petroleum coming in, they'll turn on and burn that excess petroleum off, generating us more polluted water. For the time being, yeah, this is starting to slowly fill up. I might want to turn this on a little early, but no, we're doing good for the time being. And you'll notice here, this is barely turning on at all now. It's staying quite a good stable temperature. I put in a little bit of extra water in here on the side when no one was looking, just because I replaced these tiles here with ceramic, and when I did, some of the water that was in here dropped down, so... After the ceramic replacement, I threw in just a little bit of extra water. I'm not sure exactly what the pressure is, but save game file will be included with this, so it's in the description if you want to download and check everything for yourself, check all the settings. I didn't use any lead in here at all. This is, all the wires are either gold or iron, everything else, automation, all of that stuff, it's usually out of iron or something like that. I don't want any lead in here. You have any lead, it's probably going to melt because it goes up to 403 degrees. Lead melts at, was it 327. So yeah, no lead in here. Just avoid lead. All the insulation is made out of igneous rock, except for the ceramic I put in here just to split off the hot box from the cold box. Probably should have used a bit more ceramic, but not too worried. Next up, we're going to increase that to, let's put it up to 4 kilos. I know it's too fast already, but I would like to see this sucker finished. This thing is eating 4 kilos like a champ. So maybe let's just try 6 and... Oh, why is it doing that? Stop scrolling. Stop scrolling. Yeah, there we go. Better. So it's eating 4 kilos like a champ. Let's stick it up to 6 kilos and see what happens. Yeah, we should be golden. Let's see what happens to this here. So long as that stays at 650, we know we're good. Few advantages over the volcanic powered one. Normally with the volcanic powered one, you drop in fresh magma and then you have stuff that's 1600 degrees. And when you inject temperature, it really injects, it overheats it. With this, you have far more precise control. I could turn this down by 1 degree and it's going to be quite accurate. I can change the temperature in this down to about 600 degrees and I can be assured I'm not going to be over injecting temperature. For example, let's check this. Let's check this tile right here, this petroleum tile. Where's the temperature on it? 402. Door is engaged. And it spikes up to 404. So it's overheated by 1.1 degree more than it should be. We set it to 403. If this was magma, when you do a fresh drop, you'll probably overheat by about 10 degrees. There's no chance to not avoid that because you're dealing with such high temperatures. Magma heat injection is just a little bit off. So this does allow you to cut your margins an awful lot finer if you really want to. Okay, what are we looking at down here? You're going to wait till you hit 700 degrees before you start pumping. Water in here is still well above 0. And the petroleum here at the bottom of this, wow, minus 33. It's very weird because normally you're dumping in 80 degree crude, but in this case we're dumping in minus 35. And the output petroleum looks like it's going to be about minus 35. Oh well. Okay, skip forward time. Going to skip forward some more so until we've got more of this ready. Actually, we're going to crank it up some more. We're already up to what? 6? Let's make that 8. 8's fine. Yeah, you do want to increase these slowly. If you crank them up too fast, too quick, yeah, it won't handle it so well. Just make sure that this stays at 650 and you should be fine. Our first batch of petroleum is coming out of our petroleum boiler. We'll now head all the way across here and start dumping into our petroleum tanks. To prep for it, I have started to delete the oil refinery. Don't need that anymore. Done, dusted. Automation wire. This one here, the overflow detection system. When that overflow detection detects that we have too much petroleum, it'll turn on 5 petroleum generators. Boom, problem solved. I'm going to put in a 6th petroleum generator. You know what? No, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I think I'm going to leave this at 8 kilos for now. I don't need any more, and yeah, I do want to do a little bit of planning in the background. Just make sure this is running nice and stable. Don't want to stress the system. But that should be it. That's 8 kilos of petroleum. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, just in case you're a newer player. Yeah, it turns out crude oil, I should have mentioned this. Crude oil has a, tell me that's temperature shift plate. So crude oil down here has a vaporization point of 399.9, but it's not really a vaporization point. When it hits that temperature, it turns into petroleum. Petroleum, for example, when it hits its vaporization point, it turns into sour gas. So what you can do is just straight up boil crude oil, and at a 1-to-1 ratio, it becomes petroleum. So you're converting 1 kilo of crude into 1 kilo of petroleum. If you try and do it with the oil refinery we have here, if you convert 1 kilo of crude, it becomes half a kilo of petroleum. So this effectively doubles how much energy, water, everything we get out of our crude oil. Because when you burn petroleum, you get water out of it and carbon dioxide. And this way, we're going to get way more water, twice as much, which will allow us to run some sustainable oil wells and things like that. Anyway, that is a rather messy petroleum boiler made using space materials. If you're going to do this yourself, I do recommend maybe putting in that what was it called there? Tepodizer. Putting in a tepodizer down there so you don't have to go through all the stupid stuff I did with that. I really should have known better. This has happened to me once before, but it was so long ago I'd forgotten. Just learn from my mistakes. Put in a tepodizer down there, everything else should work perfectly fine. Save game file attached. And I hope you enjoyed, and good luck.